Please bow our head and put ourselves in the presence of the Lord. Dear God, we offer everything to you during this seminar. May we ask for your blessing and divine providence that the activities set for this undertaking be successful and effective. May we also retain the invaluable knowledge and learning experiences that we derive from this activity. We pray that you bless all the committee in charge that they fulfill tasks responsibly, that the objectives they have set may all be achieved. Your generous as blessing would mean success of this seminar. We know that without it we can do nothing. Maybe believing witnesses of your genuine love through the implementation of the knowledge acquired through this activity. Grant us your divine wisdom as we about our daily tasks after this seminar. This we ask in Jesus' name, Amen.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the free webinar on transfer pricing and taxation of digitized economy. Today is June 24, 2021. No? Yung iba naliligo ngayong araw na to. No? Um, our seminar will last up to 12 o'clock. And during the seminar, we will continue with our poll question that you are going to answer, and also the evaluation form after the seminar. Please reserve your question up to the end of the seminar. We will answer your question at after the lecture, no, at 12 o'clock. Would like to call on the participants who are now who have already signed in, no, their attendance sheet. Abad Anabil Mulanda, Aglim Shikaina Grace, no, Mangaldan, Pangasinan. Alcantara Jenny Joy, San Carlos City, Pangasinan. Araos Mary Jane, San Jacinto, Pangasinan. Arce Joshua, Santa Barbara, Pangasinan. Balmania Maria Teresa, Ortigas Center, Pasig. Billion Liesel, General Trias, Cavite. Bencio Raisa, La Trinidad, Benguet. Bernabe Rose Ann, Umingan, Pangasinan. Kakayan Christian Brian, San Carlos City, Pangasinan. Cantor Carl Joseph, San Jose del Monte, Bulacan. Kapua May Jane, Salisay District, Dagupan City. Carino Patricia Marie, Mapandan, Pangasinan. Corrado Shermaine, Mandaluyong City, Metro Manila. Damasco Jennifer, West Carail, Dagupan City. Jocadis Ryan, Pavia, Iloilo. Doroy Mary Jane, Makati City. Fabia Gwyneth, Ago, La Union. Ferrer Reynald, Mapandan, Pangasinan. Formoso, Cesar Rey, no, Antipolo, Brittany, Antipolo City. Frias Erica, Basista, Pangasinan. Galiema Raisel, Villasis, Pangasinan. Galietes Ayesa, Alcala, Pangasinan. Gasco Norwayne, Baguio City. Hoson Richel, oh, si Richel, no? Tandang Sora, Quezon City. Oh, sa Ion Management pala siya. Also sa New Era. Okay. Lalas Angel Rhea, Mangaldan, Pangasinan. Lamayo Maria Cindy, San Pedro, Laguna, Lucero, Karen K., Cainta, Rizal, Magnaye, Eugenia, Candelaria, Quezon Province, Parco, Kim, Pasig City, Puntawi, Russell, John, Dagupan City, Rada, Maria Florenza, Ginubatan, Albay, Ramos, Monica, San Carlos City, Pangasinan, Raon Divina Rose, Soal, Pangasinan, Rosario Hana Lorraine, Binmali, Pangasinan, Salisa Arlene, San Jose del Monte, Bulacan, Saludo Ira May, Umingan, Pangasinan, Salvamante Genebeth, Sampaloc, Manila, Sanchez Lenlen, Rodriguez Rizal, Santueco Carlo Magno, Canomay West, Valenzuela City. Sigera Joy Garcia, Fairview, Quezon City. Soriano Jeff Dalaten, Dagupan City. Sobarjaga Chuchi, Cagayan de Oro City. Torio Rina, Binmali, Pangasinan. Untalan Laicalo, Santa Barbara, Pangasinan. Velasquez Dayan Kate, Mapandan, Pangasinan. Vidal Alejandro, Dagupan City, Pangasinan. Lonon Bernadette, no, as usual. Coino Adelfa, Gerwela Andrea, Fontanalgo, Shania, Peralta Mary Jayan, Cruz Jedaya, Borats, Christina May. Ano to? Burais. Parang T yung ay mo eh. Tingnan mo. Kung hindi T yung ay mo. Ah, Burais. No? Mejia Riza Joy, Pangasinan. Humamoy, Mile, ano to?
Meliriz.
Mileriz, Pangasinan. Barahan, Erika. No? So, sila pa lang. Yung inyong certificate of registration, attendance, follow up nyo kay Hari.
Kahapon na lang hindi ko na.
Yung kahapon hindi pa napadala, no? But definitely papadala po namin yung inyong certificate. Okay. So let's start with our free webinar transfer pricing and taxation of digitized economy. Take note that yung mga karugtong na topic, karugtong na title in our topics in relation with transfer pricing. Kaya, ang main topic natin talaga is transfer pricing, but how is transfer pricing related to the taxation of the digitized economy? No? So, in the digitized economy, there is somewhat complicated or it's difficult to tax those players in the digitized economy. Much more so if we apply the transfer pricing principle in the taxation of digitized economy. But since our topic is about transfer pricing, we will relate the digitized economy into the principle of transfer pricing. And we'll go back with transfer pricing. It's an arm's length principle, no? So taxpayers in the new digitized economy should adapt the transfer pricing arm's length principle in pricing their goods and services. So kahit the digitized economy ka na, you still have to adopt the arm's length principle. And what is the arm's length principle? The transactions between the related parties should be at par or similar with that of the independent parties, because the independent party transactions are the true transactions influenced by the market forces, while the related party transactions are influenced by control of one party to the other. Kaya yung real transactions is the independent transactions. And that is what the arm's length principle trying to achieve, no? The application of the arm's length principle. And of course, in the application of transfer pricing, we cannot do away with the comparability analysis, because the heart of transfer pricing is comparability. Why? Because you are going to compare the transactions between related parties and the independent parties. So you are going to perform comparability analysis and make comparability adjustments as the situation requires. And sa mga cases na that we have tackled and already reaches the court, meron tayong tinatawag na primary adjustment, secondary adjustment, and complementary adjustment. Why? Because you cannot do away once you have made an adjustment and then the other transactions or the other party will be affected, then you have to do the secondary adjustment and also the complementary adjustment. Oh? And for the transfer pricing methods, we have to abide with the RR2-2013 here in the Philippines, in which you have to apply all the methods and then recommend the best method. No? So that is what we call as the best method rule. Sa ibang bansa, most appropriate method, no? Yung hinahanap nila. Pero sa atin, you apply all the methods and then recommend the best method. Okay, so that's about transfer pricing in relation to the digitized economy. No, sa Pilipinas, we don't have yet the law on digitized taxation, although there is a proposal from Representative Sayal Seta of Bicol. No? Pero hindi pa siya na-post through and then I go through the draft law, parang mahirap pa siyang implement because there should be some specific provisions about the implementation of the digitized taxation. And para sa akin, the most important part in administering the taxation system, you start with the registration, which we have here. No, our slides is 189. We cannot discuss them all, but it is for your eyes only. No, readings ninyo yung iba. And para sa akin, the most important part of administering taxation are registration and record keeping, no, the issuance of the invoice or invoicing system of the taxpayers. And for me, it is very important that once you are engaged in a digital business, you have to maintain also electronic records for your business transactions. Hindi na uubra yung manual, no? Una-una tapos si Torby na pag nag-manual recording ka in your books of accounts, it should be computerized accounting system, no? Which is wala yan sa batas natin. Kaya nga, online business seller, tapos magpaparegister ng manual na books of accounts. Tapos si Torby, no? Should be the online seller ka. Dapat computerized accounting system ka, automatic na yan. Why? Because your records are electronic. Bakit mo i-record yan na manual? So, anong gagawin mo doon? I-hard copy mo muna lahat. And then, i-record mo, i-transfer mo na. So, na-defeat yung purpose of being digital, no? Kung wala kang digital recording. Okay? So, the economics of digitization, the field of economics that studies how digitization, digitalization, and digital transformation affects markets. Excuse me. And how digital data can be used to study economics. Excuse me pakipatay itong ano na to, Hari. Kasi inuubo na ako. And then yung pinto doon, bukas muna. Kasi may nasingot akong alikabok. Excuse me po. Pag senior citizen, pasensya na po. Sensitive. Dami ng sa mga amoy. Dati nagpe-perfume ako, ngayon wala na. Sakit sa ulo pag may naamoy kang ibang amoy. No? It goes with the age. Kaya yung mga bata pa, enjoy your life. You're still young. Because when you reach the age of 60, all the activities that you want, hindi nyo na kaya, no? Physically. Yung mentally, okay lang. Kasi yung mental natin, it still has the capacity to think. Pero yung physical, wala na. Nagde-deteriorate, no? Kusa mo lang siya mararamdaman para nawawala yung lakas mo. O, ganun pala. Kaya dami kong nag-a-adjust ako because sabi ko, Ngayon pa lang naman ako nag-senior eh. So ngayon ko lang naramdaman, ngayon ko lang na-discover na ganito pala. No? The, the strength that you have once have in your body, wala na. Nanghihina ka na, yung parang yung energy mo na diminish every day. No? Wala tayong magawa. That's the cycle of life. No? Anyway, siguro yung gagawin na natin is you enjoy the aging process. No? So, limit your physical activities. Okay? So, economics of digitization, no? When we say digitize, anong ibig sabihin nun? Lahat virtual na, lahat through computer, through internet. And if you try to think about it, yung investment ng world now is on digitization, no? At para sa akin, napakalaking tulong ang digitization, no? Kahit itong pandemic, the purpose of pandemic para sa akin is also very good na ang daming na cure ng problem, no? Kasi when you just work at home, anong mga nasisave mo? Yung oras, yung effort, yung pamasahe, ang dami. No? So, mag-iiba nga lang ang mundo, you have to adjust. Kaysa naman yung araw-araw, 4 hours muna sa traffic lang, no? You will still be effective. Okay, so the field of economics that studies how digitalization, and digital transformation affects markets and how digital data can be used to study economics. Kasi nag-iiba na ang mundo, nag-iiba na ang problema, mag-iiba na yung strategies natin. No? That's why I don't like webinars. No? I want face-to-face. Kahit yung mga participants ko, ma'am, face-to-face lang tayo. Tawag ng tawag. Hulihin tayo. We will be punished. No? Kasi stricto sila. Um, so I really try to catch up with uh, ano yung bago. No? So kagaya ng YouTube. Ayoko naman sana ng YouTube. Pero but it's the thing of the present. No? So, sabi ko, buhay ka pa naman. So you have to uh, align yourself with the current environment, kung ano man yan, no? So, biro mo, at your age, makipagsabayan ka pa sa internet. No? Pero wala tayong magawa. But, of course, mahirap at first, but pag nakasanayan na, hindi na mahirap kasi lahat yun, aralin mo, no? Pati yung mag-operate ka ng mga gadgets, mag-operate ka gagamit ka ng camera, no? Ng mga lightings mo, lahat-lahat yun, aralin mo. No? But you wanna do about it, if you want to be competitive, then you have to. No? Kaya nga, I am so happy with the participants, no? That you grab this opportunity. This is an opportunity given to you. And I'm very happy na ang dami. No? Yung mga taga-Pangasinan, ang dami nila uma-attend. No? Ang daming uma-attend ng taga-Pangasinan. Why? So makikita mo talaga sino yung nag-grab ng opportunity and who are preparing for the future. No? Kasi hindi ka naman mabubuhay sa ngayon. No? Yung ngayon mo is the effect of your preparation yesterday. So kung wala kang preparation yesterday, nasaan ka ngayon? Wala, hindi ka competitive. Mahirap ang kung nasaan ka lang, no? And your today naman is the preparation of tomorrow. Kaya nga sabi ko, futuristic itong mga bata na to na talagang yung iba kasi sasabihin nila, ay, hindi applicable sa amin ang transfer pricing. Yung iba ayaw nga alamin kung ano yung transfer pricing. But to those who really try hard, alamin, and i-expand yung knowledge in transfer pricing, then I salute you kasi may future kayo dito. No? This is the future of taxation. Yung iba na tax code lang ang alamin kasi local legislation lang, you will be left behind kasi meron na tayong global taxation. No? So you are preparing for not only na tomorrow kasi nandiyan na yung digitization ngayon no? So digitization is the process by which technology lowers the cost of storing, sharing, and analyzing data. Flooded na yung internet natin with information. Kaya if you want to know something or you want to expand your knowledge in certain area, the internet offers you everything. No? Nasa sa iyo na lang yun. Kaya yung iba na, ay, hindi ko alam. I-google mo. Internet ka, mag-research ka. Wala na ngayon yung hindi alam because yung hindi alam, there are so many people. That's why I also thank YouTube for the opportunities. Why? Because those people who are knowledgeable, those people who have a specialized knowledge, through internet, nasi-share nila sa iba. And that is for free. Ha? Kaya napakalaking, ano yan, napakalaking tulong no, sa lahat. It's up to you to use that opportunity. No? So the process has changed how consumers behave, how industrial activity is organized. No? Ano to industrial activity? Ito yung mga nagbibigay sa atin ng pagkain, nagpo-produce ng mga pangangailangan natin. No? And how governments operate. But of course, anong ginagawa ng government? Sumusunod lang yan siya, nag-a-align lang siya sa business community. No? Sino ang nauna? Sino yung invest talaga sa research and development? It's the business community. Yung gobyerno sumusunod lang. Kaya yung trend in digitization, sino yung nagpauso ng digitization? No? It's the multinational entities or companies. Why? Because they have the money to spend for the research and development. No? At sila talaga yung nagpauso ng globalization. No? So, anong ginawa ng gobyerno? Susunod na lang yung gobyerno. So, the economics of digitization exists as distinct field of economics for two reasons. First, new economic models are needed because many traditional assumptions about information no longer holds in the digitized world. Kaya nga yung case natin discuss sa South Dakota versus Wayfair Inc. Yun yung pinag-uusapan doon yung physical presence na hindi na applicable sa digitized world, no? So second, the new types of data generated by digitization require new methods to analyze, no? So ano yun? Yung mga data generated sa internet, no? Require new methods to analyze. No, ano ang pinaka-handicap or titingnan natin sa information in the internet? Hindi yan regulated, no? At saka, ano yun, uh, ikaw mismo, alamin mo, i-gauge mo yung information na makukuha mo dyan. Kasi since hindi siya regulated, anyone can post. So, ikaw na din mismo yung magsasabi, no? So, hindi ka basta-basta din maniwala sa mga information mo, but you have to clarify also, no? Or you have to be judgmental also on the acquisition of information in the internet, no? Kasi ang dami ring nanloloko lang. Okay. So research in the economics of digitization touches on several fields of economics. Ano yun? Industrial organization, labor economics, intellectual property. Alam nyo, itong intellectual property is a very, very vast topic, no? For intellectual property. Bakit? Kasabay ng digitization are the intellectual properties. Why? Because everything involved in digitization are intellectual properties, no? Kaya pag sabi na, ma'am, wala kaming intangibles, may website ba kayo? Ma'am, meron. Oh, so, intangible po yan, no? Websites, lahat ng nandyan sa websites na natin, sa digitization natin, copyrights, no? Intangibles lahat yan. Labor economics, mamaya after this, no? Kaya anuhin lang natin yung ating oras. But I have to discuss pagdating na ng 11:30 yung isang case about the recharge ng mga expenses, recharging of expenses on labor. Kasi makaka-relate kayo dito because in the Philippines, ito yung BPOs natin, yung business process outsourcing natin that supplies labor in companies with multi-location, no? So, paano yung mga invoicing natin? Okay. Industrial organization, ito yung mga nagbi-business talaga, no? Having industries and they are the ones changing our lives. No? Kasi dati, di ba, yung unang-unang panahon pa, anong ginagawa ng tao para mag-prepare ng pagkain? No? Kukuha ng kahoy, magluluto, no? So napaka-trabaho. Ngayon, ano na lang gagawin? Hugasan mo lang yung bigas mo, lagay mo sa rice cooker, and then isaksak, and then pabayaan mo na, tapos na. Balikan mo, luto na, kakain ka na lang. So that industry makes lives of the people easy, no? And that is the merging of science and technology that makes lives of the people easy. Okay. Pero, of course, may kaakibat din yan na problema. No? So, many of the contributions to the economics of digitization found intellectual home in these fields. Kaya nga ano ang pinag-usapan ngayon, alam niyo sa career research ko on the digitized economy, alam niyo ang ganda ng mga na-research ko. Pero mayroon na pala ngayon na flying cars. No? You can just imagine. At saka iba-ibang design na sila. No? Flying cars. Pwede siyang kotse, tapos lumilipad, no? Nakakatipid sa traffic. No? So, meron ng ganyan. And that is the product of technology. No? Kaya meron tayong tinatawag na artificial intelligence. Ano tong artificial intelligence na to? Ito yung mga software, ito yung mga logic na ginagamit sa mga inventions. No? I was once a participant of the WIPO, yung World Intellectual Property Office, and one of the poll question there is ano daw yung um, contribution no ng artificial intelligence, ano daw yung um, mga questions or the na magka-crop up because of there is an artificial intelligence. And my answer is I am a practicing accountant, sabi ko, and I am a tax consultant, and I am very particular about the ownership of the artificial intelligence for tax purposes. Because if you are the owner of the artificial intelligence, then whatever income or if it is used by others and then babayaran ka or magkaroon ka ng license, then you have to pay your taxes for that. Since I am a tax consultant, I'm very particular on the ownership of the artificial intelligence. So, for example, information goods such as news, articles, and movies now have zero marginal cost. Bakit? Nasana yung mga news sa internet na. Bakit ka pa bibili ng newspaper? No? Magkano pa yun? Dati nagsusubscribe pa ako eh. Mga magazines, mga newspapers, nagsusubscribe ako. Now, hindi na kailangan. Why? Pinutin mo na lang yung internet. Nandyan na. Yung news na gusto mo, no? Ano yung news kanina? Giovanni? Oh, so totoo ba yun na si President Noynoy Aquino namatay na? No? So, condolence kay Chris. No? So, information goods such as news articles and movies now have zero marginal cost of production and sharing. Pero, okay pa rin dito. Okay. Research in, okay na?
Okay na po.
Research in the economics of digitization studies how policy should adapt in response to these changes. Kaya nga yung taxation natin will also respond to the changes in digitized economy, no? So ito yung value chain of the digital economy, no? Saan namin to ni-research sa International Telecommunication Union. Bakit? Sino ba nagdadala ng technology dito? Sila, no? Kaya may union sila, International Telecommunication Union. So, ano yung value chain of the digital economy? We start with the content creation. No? Ano yung content mo? No? So, content production, you have to produce. Alam nyo, ang dami ko nang iniisip about the content production or content creation ng tax training. Kasi gusto ko kumpleto siya ng information at saka may live interaction siya with participants. That's why yung gagawin ko sa susunod na live streaming, I will invite mga tax lawyers to discuss more about tax remedies and also about yung filing of cases in court, no? So kung ano yung mga nangyayari on the filing of cases sa DOJ once na may mga tax fraud na nangyayari, so that the taxpayer will be guarded also and know their rights. So yun yung content production. And also, sa content creation, there are issues on intellectual properties. Why? Kasi yung creation mo, sa iyo yan. So, dapat protected ka dyan. No? And available or not online yung content na ginawa mo. No? So, ang dami ng mga content creators. No? Actually, yan ang mga uso na course ngayon. So, in a way, pwede ka naman maging content creator na hindi ka nag-aral formally, through research. At saka gusto mo talagang mag-aral, there are so many YouTube tutorial. No? So, just take time at saka, alam nyo yung isa na masabi ko sa inyo is, huwag maligaw pagdating na sa internet. Why? Diyos ko, there's so many things that uh, will stall your attention pag nandyan ka na. Yung mga chismes, sa Facebook, yung mga, Diyos ko, maano ka talaga eh. Once na pinindot mo, ubos na yung 30 minutes mo. Tapos tapusin mo, 1 hour pa yung mga jokes, yung mga kung ano-anong ah, drama. No? Ay, ganito pala, ay, ganito pala. Wala, ubos na oras mo. So, be very careful. Ako, pag humarap ako sa uh, internet, no? Sometimes naliligaw din. Meron na akong listahan kung ano yung mga i-research ko. Otherwise, ubos yung araw mo, walang nangyari. No? Kasi the internet will help you. Sometimes it will also destroy you. No? So, applications development. Ito yung value chain ng digital economy. No? So, application development for end users. No? Ito yung mga games. No, ang dami naluloko sa games ngayon. Lalo na yung mga module-module ng study ngayon na through the internet. It gives opportunity sa mga bata to have access on the internet throughout the day. O, anong ginagawa? Games na lang din. No? Utilities and others. Distributed through hosting platforms. No? Kaya maghanap ka talaga ng magandang platforms, no, for hosting. Kami siguro yung sa paid webinar namin, we will use the WebEx, no, platform. And then, yan na yung gagawin natin, hari. Umpisa na tayo niyan, no? Communications applications. Ito yung voice, text, and video services provided by OTT. May ano ako dyan eh. Yung OTT on top, ano yun. Meron akong ni-research dyan, hari, na papel. Bigay mo sa akin. Nakasulat dyan lang sa gilid. Yes. Naka-define lahat dyan. Okay na. Yes. So, OTT is over the top. No? Ito yung over the top media services. For the aggregation platform, we have proprietary and user-generated content packaging. Ano yung mga proprietary? Once na ginamit mo, you have to pay for the copyrights. No? Ang dami naming na kami na strike sa YouTube because of that proprietary rights ng music. No? Si Harry palagi yan ginagamit. So na kami, ay strike out violations. No? Yun, yung proprietary and user-generated content. And then for the equipment, of course, you have to provide technology infrastructure. Ilan yung ating, ano ba yun, yung internet service provider natin, Hari? Ilan?
100 Mbps.
No, 100 Mbps, pero ilang companies? No? Dalawa, nagbabayad po kami kasi kailangan may backup. Once na down na yung isa, at least may ready ka na switch. So, yung isa, tambay lang talaga yan, but we're paying it on a monthly basis. No? So, kasama yan sa risk management natin. No? So, technology infrastructure to enable content delivery. No? Kasi paano mo ma-deliver? Halimbawa, ngayon, meron tayong webinar. Nag-down yung isang provider. Eh, kung wala kang backup, eh, wala na. And I don't want to feel sorry for the participants, no? Kaya meron tayong backup. So, binabayaran yan kahit hindi nagagamit. And for example, software, DRM, ano yung ibig sabihin ng DRM? Digital Rights Management. No? Ano yung digital rights management? Para sa akin, later on, as a consultant, this is also a good avenue for services. Pagka, anong tawag sa iyo? Digital rights management consultant ka. Kasi may mga digital rights that should be protected also, no? Kaya dapat hindi tayo natutulog on our rights. We know it para na po proteksyonan natin. No? So I'm also attending, bukas meron tayo hari ha, sa WIPO, no? World Intellectual Property Office. Talaga nangungulit ako sa kanila.
Nag-ano, nag-reminder kasi
7 ng gabi? Okay. Sige. So, tiyagaan po talaga. Why? Because WIPO is the World Intellectual Property Office. At sa internet, sa digitization, sila yung nagpo-protect, no, ng mga proprietary rights natin. No? Kaya if you want to be a consultant in DRM or digital rights management, then wala po kayong magawa but to study all the programs, all the initiatives of the WIPO or the World Intellectual Property Office, which sa atin naman dito, yung counterpart niya is our IPO or the Intellectual Property Office, which is a government agency in charge of the registration of intellectual properties, no? Mga copyrights, trademarks, patents, processes, no? Yung circuit, ano ba yun? Yung gumagawa ng mga drawing na yan, no? Ah, kasama yan pinoproteksyonan, no? Servers, hosting services, and others, no? Hosting portal, content distribution via app stores, no? Yan yung ginagawa ng mga ah, provider, no? Service provider, mga host. Transport, content transport up to the user device includes operator, ISP, Internet Service Providers, and CDNs. Ano yung CDN? Content Delivery Network or proxy servers. So, ano din yan? Services din yan, ha? Kaya sa digitized world, there are so many opportunities. All you have to do is to prepare yourself and know kung saan ka mag-fit for the services. No? So, devices used to access content. Smartphone, pero ayaw ko ng cellphone, masakit sa mata, hindi na kaya ng mata ko. No? PCs, yung personal computers, tablets, malaki-laki pa. M2M, ano yun, yung machine to machine, no? IoT, alam nyo, nag-research ako on IoT, Internet of Things. Diyos ko, ang dami na pala ng Internet of Things. Ang dami na talaga. And this Internet of Things, ano to, product to ng innovation, ng research and development, na yun na nga yung kasama na doon yung um, flying cars, no? Na dati parang imposible. Dati parang nasa isip mo lang, parang panaginip lang. But now, a reality, no? Kaya dapat yung dati panaginip natin, now a reality. Yan na yung environment natin. Ito na yung buhay natin. That's why we live through it, no? Kasi kung nanaginip pa rin tayo, wala. Panaginip ka lang. Kaya yung si Juan ng Masipag, gusto ko yun. Dapat mag-umpisa pa noon, inirace na yung si Juan Tamad. Dapat si Juan Masipag na yung tinuturo sa mga bata, no? Para napagkatandaan, masipag, hindi tamad, no? Kaya dumami tuloy yung tamad. Kasi maliit pa lang, kwento, puro Juan Tamad, no? Ano siya yung nakaka-carry ng values, no? Ano? Kasi nakakahawa kasi yan no? So digital economy value chain comprises firms operating within ecosystem, delivering content and applications to consumers. Ito yung um, explanations to, itong mga slides na to, explanations to ng value chain of the digital economy. No? So, tingnan nyo na lang yan. Kasi sabi ko nga sa inyo, we have so many um, slides. No? 189 slides sa 2 hours, imposible. Readings nyo po yung iba. No? So, the technological standards. So, may standards din ang technology. Just like any other thing. Kahit yung personal natin, ha? Yung personal natin as a person dapat may standard ka. No? May brand ka. Kilala ka na na ganyan. Tinanong ko yan noon eh, ano ba yung standard ng personal? Kagaya sabi ko, si buhay pa noon, no, si Miriam Defensor Santiago. Sabi ko, bakit accepted na ganyan yung personality niya? Sabi nila kasi yun ang personal standard niya, which is being accepted na ng mga tao. No? Kaya tayo as a person, meron din tayong tinatawag na personal standard natin, just like technology. No? May technological standards din na sinasabi. No? And also, ang pinaka-importante sa technology, they are also regulated. Kaya nga nirelate natin yung transfer pricing in the taxation of digitized economy. Because transfer pricing is a principle, no? Arm's length principle. So dapat i-apply din natin sa digitized economy, not only on the um, face-to-face na mga transactions. Dapat sa digitized economy, nandyan din ang transfer pricing. No? Platforms and online marketplaces. Yan na. Yan na yung tax environment natin ngayon. Yan na yung mga services run by platform. Yung marketplaces natin online, kaya nandiyan na yung mga online sellers. No? And how do we tax online sellers? Dito sa Pilipinas, di ba, they were required to register. No? Walang threshold ang registration. Ha? Once na online seller ka, walang threshold. At saka wala tayong batas on online selling. Ang batas natin pareho lang sa lahat. So ano, we required also the online sellers to register, to issue receipts, to keep books of accounts, no? Bait nga ang BIR dahil hindi niya pa ni-require na lahat ng online sellers because digitized yung records should maintain electronic books of accounts. Pero para sa akin, that's the most and that's the best para sa online sellers. Okay. Sahin ninyo yan. How should internet sales be taxed? No? Bakit pinick up ko tong question na to? Because there are so many opinions noon pa naririnig ko that the internet sales should not pay tax. No? Ay, hindi to tinatax. Kasi sa internet ito eh. No? So what happened now? Our lives are already in the internet. Wala ng tax. Oh, so saan ako kukuha ng panggastos yung gobyerno? Oh, wala na. Sino yung magpapatakbo ng public na mga services natin? Wala na. So what happened? Kaya yung sa Japan, when I study Japanese tax administration system, I appreciate the initiative of the Japanese government in the tax administration because meron silang mga animation, meron silang mga play, meron silang mga production that really incite or give ideas to their people on the importance of paying taxes. Bakit? Meron silang mga animation na this is the world with tax and this is the world without taxes. No? Without taxes, walang pulis, magulo, walang infrastructures. No? So, more or less, madaling intindihin at saka inculcate sa mind ng kanilang mga citizens so that mapabayad sila ng tax. No? Kaya yung voluntary compliance nila is very high. Okay. So government finds it difficult to tax internet sales because there is no retail address. Kaya ang ano nga natin ngayon, ang pinag-usapan sa digitized economy is the virtual presence. No? Yung virtual presence nila, yun ang titingnan mo, no? So there is no retail address. In theory, the consumer is required to pay the tax to the government authority where he resides. Bakit? Because of the taxation of the residents, no? Residence-based yung karamihan ng taxation natin. So that where you reside, when you are a resident of a certain country, your country will tax all your income, no? Kahit saan pa yan galing, no? Ang mga sources niyan. Kaya yun, ang conflict in double taxation sa tax treaties, we will have our free webinar on transfer pricing and tax treaties next week. No? Kasi bukas, permanent establishment. No? That's also a very good topic in relation to transfer pricing. So some countries such as Switzerland have been successful at implementing this. No? Kasi, alam mo yung Switzerland, ano sila yung parang by province, iba-iba yung batas. And then, meron silang magandang administration ng laws nila and madali lang yung mag-amend ng batas nila. That's why parang na-update or na-current nila palagi yung batas nila. And also according to utilities, no? So, however, this is not always the case. No? With the volume of e-commerce as a portion of retail trade continues to increase around the world, sales taxes on goods purchased on the internet are not paid in many cases. No? Some governments are trying to redress this imbalance by taxing e-commerce sales. No? Eh, mayroon na tayong e-commerce law. No? Other countries have a very good e-commerce law na, just like Japan. No? Yan, sila talagang active yan. So how should consumption of digital goods be taxed? No? So at para sa akin naman kasi sa mga researchers ko, ang consensus naman that you are going to tax income on the recipient of income. So whoever receives the income, taxable yun sa kanya. So kung resident siya ng Pilipinas, taxable siya on all income within and without the Philippines. So taxable siya lahat. But the problem is, will come in the issue on double taxation. Why? Because other countries also tax him kasi yung source niya. No? So you cannot avoid double taxation. Para sa akin, the issue of double taxation in taxing digital goods talagang nandyan. So, and it should be settled. No? Kagaya ng income. If we try to look at our tax treaties, no? Kasi yung tax treaties natin, yan yung double tax agreement to avoid double taxation. So, paano mo i-tax ang income? Income should be taxed and be paid by the person who received it. So, kung nasaan siya, it follows kasi mobile yun yung income. But as to VAT, no? Kasi karamihan naman ng bansa, on their business taxes, VAT na, the adopted VAT, or yung sales tax. So, it should be paid at the place of consumption. But the problem is, kagaya nung napunta ako sa Japan, ang dami kong pinamili because we were paid by the Japanese government. So, lahat ng sinweldo ko sa Japan, pinamili ko na lahat doon, no? Talagang yung baon ko na dollars, iniwan ko talaga para sa ano ko, sa baggage. Kasi sabi ko, over baggage ako nito, bayaran ko na lang. Hindi ko siya iwanan, yung ipabalik bayan basis. No, sabi ko, hindi, iuwi ko to sa bike ko. Kahit mahal yung pamasahe sa JAL, no, Japan Airlines, bayaran ko talaga to. Pagdating na ng since marami kami, group kami nag-ano na ako, yung check-in. Hindi ako pinabayad ng Japan Airlines. So we are group, we are 15 persons. So, ang dami-dami kung karga, wala akong bayad, no? Yung pambayad ko sa karga ko, pag baba ng airport dito sa Pilipinas, diretso sa, yung duty free, no? Pinamili ko lahat ng chocolates. So, ang dami kong pasalubong ng chocolates. Why? Kasi natipid ko yung pamasahe. Kasi nilibre ako ng Japan Airlines kasi JICA fellow po kami. No? Yung Japan government yung gumastos sa amin noon eh. We're representative of the Philippines. So that was a nice experience. And I experienced how the Japanese government treated their guests. No? Talagang lahat. Provided ka, may interpreter, may tagahatid sa hotel, may taga-sundo. No? Sobrang talaga silang bigay ng or mag-treat sa kanilang guest, no? So this consumption of digital goods, yun ang hirap. Why? Sige. once you purchase goods sa Japan, pagdating na sa airport, may mga dala-dala ka, ibalik nila sa iyo yung VAT na binayad mo. Okay. Since ang sabi natin, VAT should be paid at the place of consumption. Okay, nadala mo na dito sa Pilipinas. O, hindi ka naman pinapabayad, hindi naman nakukolekta. No? So, wala, nakaka-escape yun. Kaya nga, ang problema, how to uh, collect the tax, the VAT, on consumer. Pagdating na sa dami niyan, sino dapat? So, para sa akin, the most effective is withholding yan. Sino? Yung nagbebenta. Siya yung magwi-withhold ng VAT. Unremitted to government. Pero hintayin mo na nandun na sa consumer, kakainin na lang niya yon. Kalimutan na niya yung tax. Just like excise tax. Excise tax on importation, di ba, sinong kumukolekta? Yung custom na. Kasi the moment na-release mo na yung goods, limot na rin yung tax dyan. No? So maghahabulan kayo. Sinong hahabol sa kanila? Wala naman tayong mga trained na mga personnel para pumunta isa-isa sa mga consumers para kolektahin yung taxes. We don't have that kind of facilities. So anong nangyayari? Nakaka-escape lang sa atin yung ang ganyang klase na collection ng taxes. No? Okay. So ito yung example sa digitized economy natin. Nasabi natin, transfer pricing should also be applied. No? Ito, example lang to ng Facebook. Ito yung Facebook flow of funds, no? Ang tax implication. So, anong yung setup ng Facebook? So, meron siyang headquarters. And, of course, meron siyang mga tax consultants, no? So, sa headquarters niya, taxes minimized because of the portion of revenues deposited in tax haven. No? So, meron siyang subsidiaries located outside emerging country or region. So, meron siyang mga subsidiaries. Saan nagbabayad ng royalty yung mga subsidiaries niya? Royalty payment transfer without tax payment papunta sa tax haven. Why tax haven? Ano yung purpose ng tax haven? Para sa akin, ginawa din yung tax haven countries na yan eh. Purposely to help in lowering their taxes. No? So ano yung ginawa doon sa tax haven? Doon remit, doon naka-register ang subsidiary company also or the IP hub, the company which owns the intangibles. So, nandoon yung royalty payment. And since that is a tax haven countries with a very low tax rate or none at all, so yung royalty payment mo, maliit lang yung nababayaran na tax. No? Or payment of expenses, no? Sales office located in emerging country. Tax contribution limited to social taxes lang, social security, no? Ano yung mga social taxes? Social taxes kasi ang tawag nila sa SSS, no? Social taxes yan. So, mandatory yan doon kasi sa atin naman, SSS yan, Social Security System for the labor forces naman natin sa mga employees, no? And corporate tax on expense payment. No? So, advertising client located in emerging market. No? So, may sales, technical support, and marketing from the sales office. And then the payment for advertising, saan ba kumingita ang Facebook? Sa advertising. No? Payment for advertising. Saan siya nagbabayad? Sa subsidiaries niya located outside emerging country. No? So, yun ang flow of funds ng Facebook with tax implications. So, ano yung tax implications niya? They are lowering their taxes through the use of companies situated or registered in tax haven countries with very low tax rates or none at all. Source dito, adapted from OECD 2014, addressing the tax challenges of the digital economy, no? Page 186 to 191. Okay. Ito naman categorization and example of data mining business model. No? When we say data mining, it's the process of finding anomalies, patterns, correlation within large data sets to predict outcomes. No? So data mining, parang nagre-research ka. It is a process of extracting and discovering patterns in large data sets involving methods at the intersection of machine learning, statistics, and database system. No? So data mining. Namamine ka ng data, of course. No? So you have to collect, select and pre-process, transform and mine, no? And then interpret and evaluate. No? So yun yung value ng data. No? Usage types can be internal use, to sell the products, to sell services, or directly to monetize. No? So yun yung mga example ng data mining business models natin sa digitized economy. Okay. So, leveraging data and digital business model analysis for transfer pricing. Ang purpose talaga natin dito is transfer pricing. No? How do we apply transfer pricing in the digitized economy? No? So, there is a challenge for allocating profits to legal entities within an integrated company according to the arm's length principle. Bakit tayo mag-allocate ng profits to legal entities? Because ang purpose ng transfer pricing is to have every country have a share in the pie of international taxation. So, kaya nga mayroon sila tawag dito na allocating profits to legal entities so that legal entities comprising or member of the group, wherever that company is situated, has to pay taxes on the country where it has its presence or saan siya registered. No? Kaya para sa akin, the issue of business registration is very important. Why? It will help the tax administrator tax their entities kasi naka-register sa kanila, mas mabilis. No? So within an integrated company, according to the arm's length principle, so we cannot do away with the application of arm's length principle when we talk about transfer pricing and when we talk about business transactions. No, so presumably in line with value creation is to identify in what part of the data mining process a legal entity, no, or taxpayer is engaged. So sa transfer pricing, we are very particular about the functions. Why? Kasi a change in functions will change also the structure of the company. No? So the next question is, what is the value of the specific activities relative to the overall value created through data mining? The transfer pricing challenge could be addressed based on the conceptual analysis of the data mining process and the different business models that exist along the value chain of data mining. So yung example ko mamaya sa inyo, ang bilis ng oras. Ang example ko sa inyo is the recharge method, no, of expenses. Parang sa atin, yun ang ginagamit ng BPOs, yung cost plus method or reimbursement of expenses. Kasi alam ko makaka-relate kayo dyan, no? So, according to the arm's length principle, ang transfer pricing relies on comparability, di ba? We studied that on the principle, no? Comparability is the heart of transfer pricing. No? So transfer pricing solutions can be developed for data-driven businesses, similarly as for traditional business models, because there exist businesses that engage in specific activities of the data mining process. No? So, okay. So you read that. Kasi explanation yan ng data mining. No? Although sa yung European Commission, marami silang, very strict sila on the documentation pagdating naman sa transfer pricing at saka sa mga businesses, no? And for your information, yung trend ngayon on transfer pricing, even in, more so in digitized economy, is the substance in every transaction. Kasi pag walang substance yung transaction mo, then definitely hindi ka benefited or whatever yung ginamit mong taxation, then pagdating ng transfer pricing audit, magkakaroon ka sigurado ng adjustment. No? Okay. So, for the option, no, on how to tax this digitized economy, no. So for the option 1 is the user participation. So very important yung user participation. Kumbaga sa taxpayer is voluntary compliance, no? So, focusing on the value generated by users of highly digitalized businesses such as search engine and online marketplaces, ito na yung services nila, yung search engines, di ba? Online marketplaces, ito yung nagpa-participate na dyan yung mga online sellers. Much of which is deemed to fall outside a physical presence corporate tax net, but not VAT, no? Pagka ang pinag-usapan mo sa digitized businesses, physical presence, definitely wala na yan. That is not the reality ng digitized businesses. Walang physical presence yan. Anong meron dyan? Virtual presence. No? Implication, more profit is allocated to locations where value is consumed. For what purposes yan? And more taxable presences or nexus or connection, no, are opened up with additional registration and compliance burden as a result. Yun. Para sa akin, very important also the registration requirement. No? Ano pa tong mga compliance burdens? Ito yung documentation. So these are very important. Kasi saan lang makakaroon ng compliance if you are required to document all your transactions. No? Kasi if you start with the documentation requirements, yun na yun, kumpleto na. So the effectively create separate tax system for what the OECD term as highly digitalized businesses, no? Such as Google. Bakit highly digitalized businesses sila? Kasi sila yung mga digital provider ng services, no? Sila yung mga, kumbaga sa player, sila yung talaga nagpe-play ng digital. As we've outlined, all businesses are digital to some extent and could therefore find themselves in the net even though they weren't the main target. Pwede silang hindi sila yung main target, pero since nandiyan na sila, they are players, kasama na rin sila. That's why we have discussed one case about Google, no? Na yun yung sabi ko na hindi pa man natapos yung case, nag-concede na at nagbayad na ng tax. No? Okay. The proposals talk about two systems for taxing the same profit. One for routine income, still based on the arm's length principle, and another for non-routine income. Ano yung routine income? Yung recurring, no? Halimbawa, online seller ka. Siyempre, yung routine income mo dun sa selling ng goods mo. O kung services man yan, then yun yung routine income mo. How about non-routine income? Use of intellectual property split between jurisdictions, possibly through a formula. Pag non-routine income naman, mga one-time na income mo, ano yung meron yan? Use of intellectual property, licensing, o minsan-minsan lang naman yung licensing, hindi naman yan palagi, no? Pag nag-license ka na sa isang customer mo for 5 years or for 2 years, for 3 years, or binenta niya ng one time lang siya. So, non-routine income siya. So, it is not clear quiet how double taxation can be avoided when taxing the same profit in two different ways. No? You're taxing the same profit in two different ways. Especially as there is no definition of routine and non-routine within this system. Actually, malaki pa yung tatrabahuin sa digitized taxation natin. No? In taxing the digitized world, mahaba pa yung lakbayin natin para maging, para sa akin, parang automatic na yung taxation. Because right now, there are so many challenges. And even the OECD, no, nagsasabi niyan. But dahil sa pandemic, napabilis. No? Bakit napabilis? Kasi because of the pandemic, work from home na, tapos ang dami na, nagbago ang mundo. So, mapapabilis yung study natin on the taxation of the digitized economy. So, model backer, sino yung back up doon sa user participation natin na option? The UK, no? So, UK operates broadly comparable approach, and the EU, European Union, has proposed a similar model, no? Yung user participation. Para sa akin, napaka-importante ng user participation. Why? Because when the user tago ng tago, hanap naman yung gobyerno, parang Alam niyo, napaka-toxic ng hide and seek, no? Kasi nagtatago yung isa, hahanapin mo. Kahit sa love life, no? Yung isa may tinatago, no? Tago ng tago, deceiving yung relationship. Toxic talaga yan. Yung nag-hide and seek bawat isa, no? It will not last. Kasi ano siya eh, parang hindi sincere, parang dishonest, no, na relationship. Ganyan din sa gobyerno. Pag hide and seek kayo with your taxpayer, no? So likely take up seen by many governments as too narrowly focused on what are deemed to be digital businesses to be relevant. Though some form of this approach could be incorporated into the final recommendations, no? So yun yung parang disadvantage. Next option is marketing intangibles. No? So how are you going to tax the marketing intangibles? And to, what are the example of marketing intangibles? No? These marketing intangibles are developed through times. No? So taxable profit derived from the so-called marketing intangibles. Ito yung mga logo, ito yung mga trademark, service mark, no? Yung mga sikat na kaya nga sinasabi sila na branded product, napakamahal nila, no? Brand name, no? Data-driven insight would be reallocated from where the value is originated to where the value is consumed. No? Saan ba siya na-consume? So other intangibles such as use of technology would remain within the existing nexus. No? Kaya nga sabi ko, marami pa yung tatrabahuin sa taxation of digitized economy. So in this option, marketing intangibles, ano yung implications? Broader definition of taxable presence and hence the need for registration and allocation of profits across more jurisdictions. Parang sa atin din, brands, no? So, i-concise natin yung ating geographic location in a country. Diba, sa yung isang company with brands or with presence all over the country, halimbawa, 1,000 plus branches niya. So, anong nire-require natin? Registration. No? So, kung 1,000 branches niya, 1,000 registration yan. That is one way of capturing the tax base ng taxpayer. No? So, registration and allocation of profit across more jurisdictions. That's why I told you in the transfer pricing documentation that you should be ready with the segmentation of information of financial statement. Kung brands kayo, then segmentation of information based on brands. Kung marami kayong line of products, then segmentation of information based on product. No? So yun yung magiging implications. Mechanics could either follow existing arm's length principle. No? Kasi yan ang purpose natin sa arm's length pricing. No? Yung arm's length principle natin. Pag sinabi mo arm's length pricing, same with independent parties. No? So more mechanical approximations. But what exactly is a marketing intangible? Gray areas include whether the algorithm, ano yung algorithm? Ito yung ginagamit sa search engine, di ba? Na sabi, ito yung gagawin mo para yung search engine makita ka agad, yung mga ganun. No? Are generating value from the user base and hence marketing intangible. So, yun bang proper use mo ng algorithm sa search engine, marketing intangibles ba yan? Para sa akin, yes. Why? Kasi, pag pindot pa lang ng ano, ikaw na yung makikita. Alam niyo, noong una sa transfer pricing, marketing intangibles talaga ang search engine. Why? Kasi pag nag-search ka, yung makikita mo yung mga big firms, yung mga lahat, hindi mo makita yung mga hindi big players, no? So from the underlying technology and hence not the gray areas, heightened risk of dispute and double taxation, no? Pero unti-unti na ano yan, na address, no? So model backup, sino yung nag-backup nitong marketing intangibles? The US, no? Bakit? Kasi ngayon, sabi ko kay Harry, mag-focus kami sa transfer pricing cases on US cases, no? Kasi magaganda yung kanilang mga cases, especially on intangibles, no? So on this marketing intangibles, the US is likely to favor an approach that is the least likely of the three to erode its large digital tax base. No? Malaki ang digital tax base ng US. Sino bang unang nagpauso ng mga BPOs? Talagang US yan, no? Likely take-up, broad applicability makes it contender for the eventual recommendations to the need for consensus, suggest some form of compromise with other proposals. No? So it, uh, along with others. No? Option 3, significant economic presence. No? So transfer pricing, there should be a significant economic presence or extending the taxable presence from physical to virtual. So yun na yun. No? Ano yung significant economic presence mo? You have economic activities. No? So, wala ka man doon, pero may economic activities ka. Bakit? Consumer ka, deliver ka ng goods, bumibili yung um, customer mo sa iyo, no? Nasa UK ka, nayaya sa US ka. Pero ang dami mong deliveries dito sa Pilipinas. So, you have significant economic presence. Itong significant economic presence, very, very important ito in the determination of PA or permanent establishment, which we will discuss tomorrow. No? So, extending the taxable presence from physical to virtual. No? Kasi pagka virtual, lahat naaabot mo eh. Online marketplace based in one country selling into another. No? So, nandun ka lang sa Pilipinas, pero nasaan ang naaabot ng goods mo? All over the world. No? So, you have significant economic presence all over the world. And who will tax you? No? So, yun yung problema. Implications. This is a shift from taxing companies where intangible value, technical innovation, and advanced analytics is created to where it's consumed. No? Kasi, saan ba siya nanggagaling? Saan siya na-consume? So, saan siya itatax? In addition to an increased compliance burden, it could but paid to LRD structures. Ano tong example ng LRD structures? Ito yung low-risk distributor. Paano nangyayari itong low-risk distributor? This is a change in function. Bakit ang change in function siya? From a full-fledged distributor, naging low-risk distributor na lang siya. Nag-iba yung functions niya. Bakit? Nagiging agent na lang siya or commissioner. Nagko-commission na lang siya. So, wala na siyang risk, hindi na siya may-ari ng goods, hindi na siya yung may-ari ng sales, commission na lang yung income niya. No? So, paid to LRD structures used within transfer pricing. No? Kasi pag sinabi mong transfer pricing, nandyan na yung mga low-risk distributor, full-fledged distributor, contract manufacturer. No? So, yun yung effect ng restructuring. Pag sinabi mo restructuring, there is a change in functions. Ni-restructure yung company. So without clear-cut agreement on the formula for sharing taxable profits, there is a very high risk of double taxation. Siyempre. At ano yung ina-avoid dito, double taxation? Why? Because according to the advocates, no, ng mga double taxation against double taxation is very harmful to the economy, no? Instead na gaganahan ka pang mag-business, hindi na kasi mauwi na lang sa taxes yung kita mo. Even if the OECD does this, countries could shape the formula in ways best suited to their circumstances. Why? Because local or domestic legislation, although OECD is a soft law, no? Wala siyang test, recommendatory lang siya, no? So kung i-adapt siya ng bansa o hindi siya i-adapt, walang sanction, no? Walang sanction yung OECD. So yun yung sinasabi natin na soft law, recommendatory. Model bankers, India and other large consumer markets would have most to gain, no? Kasi bakit large consumer ang India? Billion din, parang China, billions din ang consumer ng India, no? Okay. So, yan ang significant economic presence. That's why, bakit backers ang India? Kasi, yung significant economic presence niya, maraming company ang tatamaan kasi nandun sila sa India, they are doing business there because of the presence of billion consumers. No? Okay, so likely take up with marketing intangibles proposals, the broad applicability make it contender for the eventual recommendation. No? The need for consensus suggests some form of compromise with other proposals. No? So, for the innovation in digital technologies, basahin nyo na lang po yan. No? I have so many readings for you. And we will continue with yung sabi ko sa inyo na yung recharge accounts no for expenses. Ang application noon for the um, BPOs, no? Providing services. Ito yung matagal ko nang kino-question na I have audited, no, actual, yung companies na wala nang ginawa. Magmula nung tinatag siya dito sa Pilipinas, reporting net loss, no? Hanggang sa para sa akin hindi ako papayag na puro net loss. Saka bakit net loss to? Parang it is against economic principle. Na ang economic entity is always um, reporting loss and yet continue to operate, no? Parang kung sa tao pa, parang ano ka sira? Lugi ka na nga ng lugi, bakit continue ka pa? So there must be a reason kung bakit lugi ka na, but continue ka pa rin in your operation. No? So yun yung, sabi ko, yun yung discoveryhin ko, no? Because I was once chief ng registration ng RDO 39 and RDO 39 ng BIR is the most unique district in the Philippines. Why? Kasi sakop niya yung national office and all the foreign transactions are taxed in RDO 39, no? So doon ko nakita yung mga uh, documents coming from tax haven countries. At the time, parang wala kang magawa yung mga transfer ng shares of stocks, millions of shares, and then those times lang binabayaran. Sabi ko, hindi to pwede. Somehow sabi ko, may substance talaga to na dapat. That's why when I studied international taxation and in 2008 at my own expense, at the encounter ko, yung first encounter ko pa lang ng transfer pricing, sabi ko transfer pricing is very good. Why? Ito lang pala yung answers nung lahat ng questions ko. No? So, let's have a break of 4 minutes before I discuss to you yung services no ng uh, recharge. It's another method of taxing the digitized services. Dami na naka-answer.
Hmm. 28.
All other slides po natin for your readings, no? Basahin nyo yan kasi we don't have enough time na i-discuss natin, no? Okay. So, I will discuss to you yung uh, example to illustrate application of the recharge method. Ano yung recharge method? Ito yung reimbursement. Ha? Na ang dami nito. No? Kaya makaka-relate itong mga companies dito sa Pilipinas. Recharge method under the general rule on place of taxation for business-to-business supplies of services. No? Kasi ang dami dito na nagpo-provide ng manpower, no, or staff augmentation to business supplies of services and intangibles to multiple location entities. Ito yung multiple location entities situated in different countries pero nasaan yung mga service providers, nasaan yung mga employees, nandito lang sa Pilipinas, no? So how are you going to build them and how you are going to pay taxes, no? So ito yung facts natin. Company E, ito yan, ito yung diagram natin, no? For the supply of payroll and services. So, ano yung geographic location natin? We have country D, country C, country B, country A, no? So, sino yung company natin? We have company E, head office. Use of payroll services. Ano yung payroll services? Ito yung labor, no? So, sa company E, meron siyang subsidiary si Company S, no? Si Company E, the head office is situated in Country D. Si Country A naman situated in Company S, no? Siya yung nagsusupply ng payroll at saka services, no? No, pero naka-direct connect siya kay head office, no? So nasaan yung conclusion ng contract, invoice and payment, no? And the business agreement na kay Company S, no? Si Company E naman, siya yung may use of payroll and services, no? So directly, siya yung may business agreement with subsidiary of Company E. Actually, meron akong case nito noon na ang hirap gawa ng transfer pricing analysis. At ang isa pa, hindi arm's length, no? So country C, business agreement subsidiary of Company E, use of payroll services. And then recharges of cost. So tingnan nyo dito, alam nyo, very particular ang OECD dito ngayon. Why? Kasi pag tiningnan mo, si Company S na siya lahat, nandun sa kanya yung collections, invoice payment, lahat-lahat. Tingnan nyo, collection lang talaga siya. Wala naman siyang business agreement, wala siyang yung participation, no, with the payroll services, no. So, recharges of cost, no, subsidiary of company use of payroll services. No, mayroon siyang business agreement. And then si company the head office also may recharge arrangement siya with company establishment, also the use of payroll services. So, dito sa recharge arrangement, tingnan nyo may recharge arrangement sila ang relationship between the head office and the establishment. Pero pagdating na doon sa collection, conclusion ng contract, and then the invoice payment, at saka business agreement, nandun na kay Company S, no? So, walang substance si Company S kasi si head office ang dapat. Pero, bakit nandoon yung pera kay Company A? No? So, facts. Dito tayo sa facts. Company is a multiple location entity located in 3 different countries, no? 3 different countries, the head office, country D, trading establishment in countries A and B, no? So, CE is the parent company of a multinational group with subsidiaries in countries A and C, no? So, Company's head office and establishment as well as its subsidiaries are all registered for VAT purposes. So for VAT purposes, so VAT taxpayers sila. So they are filing and paying value-added tax. So si Company E, represented by its head office, enters into a business agreement with Supplier S. No? So si Supplier S, located in country A, for the supply of payroll management services. So in this example, the payroll management services 30, yung payroll management services 30, this is a software, no? So system ito. Relate to staff of company is head office and of its establishment in countries A and B and its subsidiaries in country A and C, no? So payroll management services yan nitong mga subsidiaries. At its head office, Company A has business agreement in place with its subsidiaries and recharge. Yan na, dito na so yung recharge arrangement with its establishment. Ano yung recharge arrangement? Something like reimbursement of expenses, no? With its establishment, setting out the terms and conditions for the transactions between them. Kaya pag gumawa kayo ng analysis, very, very important that you have these terms and conditions in the business agreement. No? So usually, ang business agreement yan, service level agreement. No? Kasi provision of services yan. So the business agreement between supplier S and company E establishes a fixed fee per month. No? So yan na. Fixed fee per month if the number of employees is within a given range. Kasi may number of employees sila, so yun yung pinaka-threshold. The fees for the services supplied under this business agreement are paid to supplier S by company E. Kasi ang supplier ng labor dito si S, no? By company is head office on receipt of an invoice from supplier S. So, sino ang nag-i-invoice? Si S, no? So, the agreed fee is 20,000. Supplier S issues an invoice for this amount to the head office of company E from which it receives payment of the entire amount. So, sino ang nagbabayad? Si company E, yung head office. Sino yung binabayaran niya? Si supplier S, no? Doon sa agreed fee nila. Supplier. Si supplier S in country A has entered into a business agreement with company E, no? So it was negotiated and concluded for company A by its head office in country D, to which all invoices are addressed and which is responsible for payment. Imagine ha, yung payment nandun lang sa isang company. Pero ang dami-daming involved na mga companies and the services doon talaga provided, no? So the business agreement provides the evidence allowing the supplier to supply the service free of VAT and to issue an invoice to company is head office in country D without VAT. So ano to? Anong scheme ito? Kasi VAT registered sila. Tapos yung services, di ba subject yan sa VAT? Pero yung kanilang invoice is free of VAT, no? So, tayo kasi dito sa Pilipinas, we have uh, invoicing requirements for VAT purposes. And we have particular provisions in our National Internal Revenue Code about VAT, and it carries also the administrative requirements in the invoicing of receipts for VAT registered taxpayers, no? So, dito magtataka ka, bakit VAT registered siya, pero yung kanyang ini-issue na invoice is free of VAT or without VAT, no? So, nasaan ang VAT? Nawala, no? Because it is provided in their agreement. So, nawala yung VAT. Kaya nga, transfer pricing and taxation of digitized economy yung title natin, no? Kasi somehow, along the way, may nawawala na taxes, no? At ano yung purpose natin? We have to apply the arm's length principle in the transactions between related parties in the digitized economy, no? Digitized economy na to kasi yung provision of services through the internet, yun yung mga ginagawa ng mga BPOs, no? Customers group. After having represented company in the business agreement with supplier S, the head office of company E will typically have set up this supplier within the supply master data. So mayroon silang supply master data of its ERP, no? Uh, Enterprise Resource Program, no? System 32. So payroll din to. And will have created a cost center to capture and pool the relevant cost. This example, the head office has represented Company E in a business agreement to purchase services for its own use and for Company E's establishment in countries A, B, and its subsidiaries in countries A and C. No? So, apat na companies. Sino nagre-represent? Si Company E. No? Okay. The head office of Company E will therefore consider the appropriate methodology for allocating the cost of these services to the head office and to its establishment and subsidiaries. So there is a question here of cost allocation. Also, in this example, the allocation will be based on the number of employees or head count. No? So is it a proper allocation, Kay? Yung gamitin mo, number of employees, no? So is it reasonable? Para sa akin, reasonable na rin kasi yung number of employees. I've been doing that also in my audit doon sa isang service provider din, no? And yung recommended ko sa kanila is the profit split method, no? And the allocation of is based on the number of employees because the most number of employees is here in the Philippines. Kasi services sila eh. So kung services ka, ano ang income producing activities mo? Yun yung provision of services. And who provides that services? The employees. So ibig sabihin, nasaan talaga yung core ng services mo as service uh, oriented business. So, nandoon sa serbisyo ng empleyado mo. That's why, kung nasaan yung empleyado mo, sino yung nagsiservisyo, sila dapat yung may malaking profits. No? So, in this case, headcount presents a fair or reasonable picture of the use of the payroll management services. Okay. So, by company is head office and its establishment and subsidiaries that employ the staff to which these services relate. Headcount is thus considered as an acceptable cost allocation gave for these services. Ito sabi na to ng OECD, no? Kasi yun yung article nila na addressing challenges on the digitized economy. No? So, sabi niya dito, the headcount or yung number of employees is an acceptable cost allocation, K. No? Kasi services ang pinag-usapan and who are doing the services, the persons or the employees. No? So the terms and conditions for the cost allocation to the establishment and subsidiaries will be reflected in business agreements between Company E and its subsidiaries and in the recharge arrangement between the head office of Company E and its establishment. So upon receipt of the invoice from supplier S, the accounts payable team in the head office of Company E will enter this invoice into the cost center for invoices that have to be allocated on the basis of head count for the onward suppliers. Remember na si supplier is also a subsidiary of Company E. No? So, tapos siya yung nagbibill kay Company S. No? So, tax administration, the supplier in country A should hold all the relevant information that constitutes the business agreement to demonstrate that he has correctly supplied the service fee of VAT to Company E's head office. Imagine, yung service fee nila is free of VAT. So, walang VAT. So, anong gagawin ng tax authority? To see to it na yung business agreement nila kasama yung VAT, no? Correctly supply the service, free of VAT. Kasi sa kanila, walang VAT, no? Hindi sila charge ng VAT. Okay. So, anong gagawin ng tax administrations dito? No? Bakit very crucial yung role dito ng tax administrations? Because there are 4 countries involved in this transaction. And those 4 countries are very particular on their share, no, in the tax collection. So the tax administration in country D should be able to ensure that the reverse charge is brought to account correctly by company E's head office on the invoice received from supplier S. No? It should also be able to ensure a correct tax treatment of the recharges yung reimbursement of expenses made by companies head office to its establishments and subsidiaries. No? Kaya doon ako nagtaka noon kasi puro reimbursement of expenses lang. And then the company suffer loss for how many years? No? Sabi ko, hindi pwede to. No? So, only transfer pricing pala yung makapag cure nung ganong klase na uh, sistema. Why? Kasi sa transfer pricing, anong method dapat gamitin mo doon? Since loss ka palagi dito because you are providing services to your parent. Profit split, no? Since ikaw yung nagpo-provide ng services sa parent company and the parent company was able to do business because of your services. So, ano dapat? Babayaran ka dapat ng head office mo, not only on the reimbursement of expenses, but including the profit. No? So company is head office should hold all the relevant information that constitutes the business agreement with supplier S. Should also hold the business agreements with its subsidiaries and the recharge arrangement with its establishment demonstrating how the recharges were allocated. The tax administrations in country A, B, and C should be able to ensure that the reverse charge is brought to account correctly by the subsidiaries and establishments of Company E on the recharges made by the head office. Ang problema lang dito sa mga BPOs, cost plus method yung ginagamit nila. So, halimbawa, mayroon silang expenses, no? Nag-bill sila. Yung babayaran nilang payroll is 100,000. Nagma-mark up lang or binibigyan lang sila ng cost plus 7%, no? So that's not enough, that is not arm's length. So pagdating na sa transfer pricing analysis, ano yung gagamitin mo, cost plus method, at ano yung i-compare mo, the gross profit. So that gross profit ng isang service-oriented companies sa independent parties is not 7%, no? Kaya nga sabi kung walang comparables, what are you going to do? You have to hypothesize, and when you hypothesize, anong gagawin mo? You have to ask question, and what is the question? If this transaction happens between independent parties, papayag kaya yung independent party, nabibigyan ka lang, or 7% lang i-mark up mo on the whole transactions. Siyempre hindi, because the 7% is not enough, no? Yung 7% mo, dapat cost of money mo lang yan, investment mo lang yan, no? Kita mo lang yan, kulang pa. Because nung nag-establish ka ng firm, ng company na muhunan ka, so dapat ba na yung puhunan mo, wala siyang kita? Of course, that is not the purpose of an economic entity because the economic, the, the business as an economic entity has to earn profit, no? And then gawa ka lang ng gawa, walang profit. Ano ka? Non-stock, non-profit. No? So, misclassified ka. No? Okay. So, the subsidiary should hold all the relevant information that constitutes their business agreement with company A through its head office, and the establishment should hold the relevant information that constitutes their recharge arrangement with their head office. Kaya alam nyo, sa pattern or sa setup ngayon, sa initiative po ng OECD, meron na silang mga tinitrain na tax officers without borders. Kasi ganito yung mangyayari dito eh. Sa iisang transaction, sa iisang arrangement, no, sa provision of services, there are 4 countries involved. So anong gagawin mo pag ikaw yung nag-audit? You have to audit all the transactions in that 4 countries. Kaya kailangan mo ng tax officers without borders. And there are so many jurisdictions na ngayon, yung mga countries or tax authorities, they are already preparing or training their tax officers without borders. No? Ready na yung mga highly industrialized country. No? Yung mga hindi, natutulog pa, reactive na lang. So, yung iba proactive, advance, lalo na China. Yung iba reactive, no? Natutulog pagka yung iba nandun na sa moon, no? Yung iba natutulog pa. God. Kaya ako pag nanggising ako ng mga kasambahay ko, kaya masama ako sa mga kasambahay ko kasi pag ginising mo, yung ibang tao nasa buwan na, kayo natutulog pa. So what will happen to you? Wala. Wala. Kasi hindi mo piniprepare yung sarili mo sa gusto mong marating, no? Gusto mong marating, natutulog sa isang tabi, oh. Mawala ka sa mundo, wala rin, no? As if nothing happened. So in particular, the tax administrations in countries A and B should be able to verify that the establishment have accounted for tax at the correct time of taxation under the normal domestic rules. Kasi, di ba sabi natin, those companies are situated in different countries. So these different countries have also their domestic legislation when it comes to taxation of labor, no? So date of internal recharge documents, date consideration is paid to the head office. So sinong gagamitin mo dito? Sinong kailan mo dito? Tax officers without borders will audit all this four countries simultaneously, no? Including the head office and its subsidiaries who are in charge of the collection or the billing, no? So, yun ang mangyayari. So, in order to audit the recharges, the tax administrations will need to be able to see all the relevant commercial documentation. That's why, ang sabi sa atin, you have to invest in documentation, no? Kasi yung documentation, yung commercial transactions mo, hindi yan yung at the click of the hand na nandiyan na yung documentation, you have to do it, no? When we say we have to document, gagawan mo talaga yan ng dokumento. Hindi yung lilitaw lang yung dokumento dyan. No way. No? And what is the most common commercial documentation? Receipts. Issuance of receipts as proof of your sales. And yung demand mo of the receipts on your purchases. No? Huwag purchase ng purchase. Tapos, magtatanong na, mangungonsumisyon na, ma'am, anong gagawin ko? Bumili ako, hindi ako binigyan ng resibo. Eh, bumili ka, wala resibo. No? Try to be proactive. Tapos, problema ka na, ma'am, anong gagawin ko? Eh, una-una pa lang, nanghingi ka ng resibo o kaya hindi ka bumili na walang resibo. Why? Kasi that is also very risky. Imagine, bigay mo yung pera mo na walang resibo. So, what is your proof? Eh, kung hindi bibigay sa iyo yung product, o kaya fake yung product na binigay sa iyo, anong proof mo na nagbayad ka? No? So, yung hindi nanghihingi ng resibo, huwag kayong magtanong later on na may problema kayo. Kasi yung problema nyo, kagagawan nyo yan. No? Try to be responsible of your acts also. No? Kaya tayo as practitioner, as CPAs, it is our duty also to inform our taxpayers on their duties for documentation. Pero sa tagal ko na nagle-lecture, no? Sa BAR, 17 years. Nung nag-retire ako sa BAR, 2013. So, ilang years na? 2013. Giovanni, 8 years na. 8 plus 17, 25 years na ako nagle-lecture. Meron pa rin nagtatanong na, ma'am, anong gagawin ko? Bumili ako, walang resibo. Oh my God. Diyos ko, tumanda na lang ako. Same question. So, ano dapat? Ba't bumili ka na walang resibo? Pasaway. No? So, commercial documentation down to transaction level in order to identify the nature of the individual service that is recharged and so determine its place of taxation and the applicable rate. Alam nyo, yung gagawin nyo that you demand for a receipt, unang-una pa lang in making a transaction, mag-iisip na yung transaction nyo or yung supplier nyo. Nakakaintindi ito. Meron itong alam sa batas. Pero, bigyan kayo ng resibo, fake na resibo, tanggapin nyo lang. Tuwang-tuwa yung nagbigay sa inyo ng fake na resibo. Bakit? Sasabihin niya, walang alam to. No? And then ngayon, kayo problema, iiyak kayo. Ma'am, anong gagawin namin? Wala kaming resibo, wala kaming cost. You shoulder the taxes. Yan ang sagot ko. You shoulder or you pay the tax. Kasi, hindi ka nangingin ng resibo eh. Unang-una, kung walang resibo, dapat hindi ka bumili. No? So, yun lang, ganun lang kasimple. Alam nyo, ang buhay natin, simple lang. So, do not complicate. Walang resibo, huwag kang bumili. O kaya, bago ka bumili, sabihin mo na kaagad, you demand for a receipt. Kailangan ko po yung resibo because this is my cost of sales. Ibebenta ko po to. So I want a receipt in order that I can claim for the cost. No? Kasi ibebenta ko to. Hindi nyo sinasabi. Hindi nyo sinasabi yung needs. Akala nung binila nyo, for consumption lang yan. So hindi na kailangan ng resibo. Pero kung sinabi nyo doon sa binilhan nyo na kailangan nyo ng resibo, magpuproduce yan. No? Magpo-produce yan kasi unang-una, nandiyan na siya sa ganyang business. Maghahanap yan ng resibo. No? So, very important. Dito po sa ano natin, sa the discussion natin on transfer pricing and taxation of digitized economy. Dito sa slides na ibibigay ko sa inyo, very important yan yung registration, yung invoicing, no? Kasi dapat may invoicing talaga. Kahit nasabihin mo pa, digitized business ka, invoicing is still important. And when we say invoicing requirements, the issuance of receipts, hindi pwede na yung issuance of receipts mo, digitized business ka, manual. Oh my God. Kaya hindi ko nga maintindihan bakit yung BIR inalaw niya yung mga online sellers to issue manual receipt, no? Sabi ko, digitized business yan, yung issue manual receipt. Tapos sabihin, ma'am, paano ako maka-issue ng resibo dito ko sa Pilipinas yung customer ko nasa UK? Oh my God. Ano dapat? Online seller ka. So ano dapat ang gamit mo? E-receipt. Why? Pindot mo lang yan. Sino ang mag-issue ng resibo sa kanya? Online din. Ganun lang kasimple. Kaya do not complicate your life. Make it simple. No? Digitized business ka. So anong gamit mo? No? Digitized lahat. Hindi pwedeng manual. So punta ka pa ng UK para mag-issue lang ng resibo. O kaya ipadala mo through courier. No? So, another poll question, and then we will proceed with the question and answer. No? Actually po yung topics natin sa ano dito, napakahaba nito, but of course, the digitized economy is a very, very vast topic. So, just expand your knowledge that the topics that we have discussed today are economics of digitization, the digital business, model analysis for transfer pricing, yun sa Facebook natin. And then the recharge method as basis for allocating taxing rights, no? Yung recharge method, yun yung taxing rights ng 4 countries, no? So how do they allocate based on the number of employees? And then the example, yun yung example on how to allocate the recharge method, no? So multiple location entities, ano ang ginamit na allocation kay the number of employees na nagsiserve doon sa companies. Although yung billing nila or invoicing nila is done by subsidiary, no? Nandoon lahat yung billing. Okay. So let's have a poll question and then let's proceed with the question and answer. And also the evaluation form palahari. Ilan yung participants natin?
52.
Ha?
52.
Kahapon ilan?
71.
So mas mababa ngayon.
Opo. Pero ang nag-register ngayon, ma'am, ano eh?
Ilan?
110.
Ha?
110. Pero yung sumasagot sa poll question, nasa 62.
Ako ha? Hindi lahat.
Hindi tali.
Ano yun? Nanonood?
Wala mo. Ang live ngayon, 53.
Tapos yung nag-answer, 62.
Kanina sa 182. Ngayon sa 322 pa lang yung ba.
Soft copy mo lahat yung evaluation at saka poll question na bigay mo sa akin. Maraming questions.
Isa pa lang yung na
Okay.
tanong.
Yung bukas may nag-register.
Meron naman, nasa 77 na.
Okay. That is an opportunity to them. Kaya international taxation na to eh. Okay na? Sige. Let's now proceed to the question and answer, no? So yung mga participants na wala namang concern or wala nang questions, then thank you very much. And let's proceed to the question and answer.
Ang nagtanong ma'am si John Andre Pelayo.
Okay.
Opo. Is this kind of taxation issue evident only for BPO companies?
Yung sample natin is evident only on BPO companies, but yung issues on transfer pricing on digitized economy applicable to all kind of industries. No? Kasi sobrang lawak po ng transfer pricing. It's not applicable only on BPOs. No? So marami pa. Actually, halos lahat eh. Halos lahat. Kasi I have clients also na engage in agriculture, engage in the provision of yung mga highly technical na services, engage in retailing, no? So applicable din po sa kanila. Not only on BPOs. Yung sample natin BPOs lang, pero applicable to all kind of business. Wala na?
Karugtong pa ma'am ng tanong niya, are shared services company possibly also doing this kind of scheme?
Yes. Shared services, no? Possible, very possible po. Kasi shared yan eh. That's why sa shared company, anong issue niyan sa transfer pricing? Intra-group services, cost contribution arrangement, or yung sharing, cost sharing, no? So, magiging issue talaga yan sa transfer pricing. And also, since digitized na ang business, nandyan talaga yung cost sharing, no? Kasi kahit sa mga internet provider lang, sa sharing of the platform, sharing of the online facilities, no? So, nandyan lahat yan. So, actually, unlimited or napakarami ng issues in transfer pricing, no? So, much more so on the digitized economy. That's why, para sa akin since digitized na tayo, dapat BAR should also be proactive of training its examiners on the digitized economy. Hindi yung on the ano pa rin, yung traditional no na examination, wala na yun. Wala na. No? So, yung ibang mga jurisdictions natin, there are 80 countries or jurisdictions that are training already their tax officers without borders. No? Kasi pwede naman yan eh. Yung tax officers without borders because of the transparency of information that halos more than 100 countries already signed on transparency or exchange of information. That's why tax officers of other countries can do audit or investigation of taxpayers natin dito sa Pilipinas because of that exchange of information. Kaya, Meron na tayong tax officers without borders. Ang problema sila, yung other countries, trained na yung kanilang tax officers. Tayo wala pa, no? So, dapat meron na rin. So, that at par tayo sa kanila. Next.
Can we call this as tax avoidance?
Yes, oo naman. Ang daming term dyan eh, no? Tax avoidance, tax fraud, lahat. Tax crimes yan eh, no? So if you try to look at, kasi nagsusubscribe din ako sa mga international organizations on taxation, ang dami niyan, no? Sobrang dami. But since the world is becoming sophisticated, tax crimes also become sophisticated. No? Nag-iiba na. Just like sa crime ng tax crimes involving intangibles, no? Tax crimes involving intellectual properties. No? So, sophisticated na rin. Okay?
Galing ma'am kay Ma'am Mary Jane Doroy.
Okay.
Ma'am, ano po ang advantages and disadvantages ng taxation of digitized economy?
Para sa akin, marami pa ngayon ng advantages. No? So, konti pala. Disadvantages, konti pa lang yung advantages. Ang number one na disadvantages natin is hindi pa natin na-capture yung mga subject or yung mga taxpayers na talagang dapat. And kung Pilipinas ang pag-uusapan natin, malayong-malayo pa, no? So siguro marami pa tayong disadvantages, marami pa tayong dapat i-draft na natin yung law na digitized taxation of digitized business. But I would suggest na it should be very specific and in that law i-require yung mga online sellers, yung mga businesses engaged in digitized business to maintain electronic books of accounts, to issue electronic receipts, lahat electronic, walang manual, no? Kasi sintonado eh. Electronic ka, tapos magmamanual ka. Sobra, no? So, those are the disadvantages siguro natin, yung administration, proper administration of the taxing process. So, malayo pa tayo. For the advantages, of course, ang advantage natin is we tax not only our citizen, but since sabi nga natin, consumption yung tax on consumption yung VAT, pwede din natin i-tax yung hindi natin citizen because, limbawa, sila yung nag-consume. No? But of course, sino yung magbabayad pagka-tax on consumption? Where the goods are consumed. So, in that country. So, pagka halimbawa naman yung ibang countries, may goods sila dito na consume sa atin, tayo naman yung mag-tax doon sa goods ng ibang bansa na dito na consume sa atin. So, ang mangyayari dyan, since value-added tax is a tax on consumption and the place of paying taxes is at the place of consumption. So, ang isang bansa na maraming consumers, just like India, kaya backer siya ng mga option natin kanina, di ba? Kasi ang dami niyang consumers. So, if you have more consumers, talagang backers ka talaga doon sa VAT, no? Yung VAT on consumption. Why? Kasi marami kang consumers, maraming i-consume na goods, marami yung VAT na ibabayad sa iyo. So, disadvantage naman doon sa mga countries na maliit lang yung kanilang consumers, maliit lang din yung VAT na makukolekta nila. Next.
Next, ma'am, ano po ang mga nagawa ni BIR regarding taxation on digital economy?
Meron na po tayong e-commerce law, pero hindi naman yan gawa ni BIR, no? Sa government talaga yung e-commerce law natin. Sa digitized economy, yun siguro yung initiative nila on the registration of online sellers, no? Na meron silang mga team, especially yung sa Pogo, no? Yung online gaming. So yun yung mga initiative nila to tax the Pogo, yung online gaming dito sa Pilipinas. At alam ko malaki na yung collections nila doon. No? Next.
Next, ma'am, ano po ang challenge on tax policy making and implementation?
Actually, yung challenge natin, since hindi naman tayo yung first to tax businesses on the digitized world, alam nyo ano yung gagawin natin. Kaya ako, yung sinasabi ko talaga na learn from the experience of others, no? Hindi ko naman sinasabi na mangopya lang tayo, pero since mas may nauna na sa atin at they prove effective, so meron na tayong precedent, hindi na tayo masyado mahirapan. We cannot be on our own kasi hindi naman tayo yung nag-imbento ng digitized world, no? So, since nauna na sila, meron na silang magandang batas in digitized taxation. So, meron na tayong precedent. Meron na tayong basihan. So, pag gumawa tayo ng sarili nating batas, hindi na tayo mahirapan. But we cannot do away with the law na i-pattern natin sa ibang bansa kasi effective na sa kanila. And aside from that, the OECD is the one giving us the guide. Kasi ang OECD is a non-stock non-profit corporations with more than 2,000 employees na meron silang mga statistician researchers and then gumagawa sila through deliberation, through consultation, gumagawa sila ng mga guidelines that will help us, no? Actually, ang daming guide sa atin. Also, yung ISGATAR, no? Yung sa South Study Group ng Asia. And then yung CATA, yung mga Commonwealth Association of Tax Administrators. Ang dami niya ng mga guide sa atin. All we have to do is to put it in one instrument na gagawin lang natin and then that can be our guide, no? Problema, parang walang gumagawa eh, no? So we need more. We need more mga proactive na mga citizen to do it, no? Kasi sa Switzerland, madali lang silang amend ang kanilang batas, no? Kasi sa isang province, may sarili silang batas. Then karoon lang ng ilang citizen, pwede na nilang i-amend yung batas nila. Kaya always current yung batas nila, no? Very applicable.
Is BIR already moving to digitalization na run? How long pa po kaya?
Actually, yung initiative ng BIR, yes, nasa digitization na rin. At yung improve na nila yung computerization, no? Yung adoption ng computerized recording. At meron na rin silang ka-ads yung computer-aided tools and techniques, no? Although matagal na yan. And of course, ito yung initiative nila on transfer pricing. Hindi pa siya masyado, pero at least nandyan na kasi pupush sila, especially yung Senate inquiry noon on the transfer pricing issues of ABS-CBN, so napupush sila doon. That's why they were forced to make guidelines na pag may guidelines na kasi wala ka na magawa but to implement it, no? Ang problema doon kung wala kang guidelines. So, meron na sila. Unang-una, meron ng guidelines on transfer pricing. So, ang transfer pricing naman, you have to apply it sa lahat eh. Whether digitize yan or hindi, you have to apply it. No? So, magandang initiative din po yan ng BIR. Next.
Galing kay Rosalina Tune.
Okay.
Client po ay gamit niya ay zero accounting tools. Paano
Yes.
po kaya ang
Yes,
receipt issuance?
maganda yung zero. Anong question?
Paano po kaya ang receipt issuance? Hindi po ba dadaan tayo sa ATP? Tama.
Ang ngayon, ang requirement ngayon ng BAR for the permit to adopt computerized books of accounts noon, ang ginagawa nila ngayon is the taxpayer mismo, yung gumawa ng affidavit, and then pupunta sa BAR that I am using this zero accounting system, and this zero accounting system is compliant to the BAR. And then, apply ka ngayon doon ng permit to print receipts kasi bibigyan kanya ng range of numbers, no? So, kasama yan. And then, pagka fully computerized accounting system ka, pati yung issuance na receipts mo is done through computer, then, magbibigay ka doon ng sample ng resibo mo, and then ipa-approve mo sa kanila, and then it is the computer now who will generate your receipts. No? Kasi ang format ng resibo natin is also pre-approved. No? So, pa-approve mo doon, and then once approved, computer mo na yung nakasama na sa system because zero accounting system also kasama din yung issuance of receipts niyan.
Tama bang ma-illegal ang e-receipt galing sa accounting tool generated?
Illegal siya kung walang permit. But there are also legal na e-receipt yung mga may permit o dumaan sa BIR, no? Kasi may pre-approve sila na range of numbers to issue and then the format and then yung nakalagay doon yung authority. Nakalagay doon. Pero pag walang authority, then illegal. Ang daming illegal, no? Kasi kung magawa lang sila, hindi dumadaan sa BIR. And in that case, kung yan ang ibibigay sa inyo, that is not a valid proof of receipt. No? It will be disallowed. Next.
Apo. Next, ma'am. How should online games be taxed?
Ano yan sa Pogo, no? I'm not particular pa sa Pogo, pero tinatax na po sila. May special team na yung BIR na nagki-keep track sa kanila. Kasi game yan at saka di kasi ako particular sa mga game na yan, mga sugal yan no? Paano ba nagbabayad ng income ang sugal, di ba? Yung certain percentage, no? At saka regulated yan ng PAGCOR, no? Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation. Parang may tarifa sila diyan kung magkano yung bayad, no? At saka para din sa akin, very important yung registration requirement. That's why yung Pogo is registered with the BIR and also registered with the PAGCOR, no? Kasi regulated 'yan Regulated po yung gaming. Okay, next.
Wala na, ma'am.
Okay, so thank you very much for attending on our webinar. And thank you very much. No, I appreciate very much your initiative to improve or enhance your knowledge in taxation. So, malayo ang mararating nung ganyang tao na very proactive. And I invite you to attend to our other seminars, no? Kasi meron na tayong monthly, no? And we will have also paid seminar using our WebEx. So, thank you very much and let's call it a day.